Okay, I call this meeting to order. First order of business, we'll do a roll call for the officers.
Commissioner Odonga,
Here.
Commissioner Underwood, Commissioner Jimenez,
Present.
Commissioner Fisher,
Here.
Commissioner Zerniak, Commissioner Acosta, Chair Lear.
Here. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the agenda unless there are changes.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can I have a vote on this? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Also needed a motion to approve the minutes. You were just handed minutes a little while ago. So I need a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 9th.
I move to
So
approve
moved.
the minutes of the meeting for May 9th.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, is there any old business? No old business? All right, new business, we'll move on to our first case, case number SU 24-004. And who is presenting? Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Charlene Santisteban, 845 North Motel Boulevard, Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay.
As I saw her adjusting the microphone, it's, at some point, can we maybe get like a step back there so maybe people won't have struggle with that microphone so much? Okay, thanks.
So the case before you is SU 24004, and the applicant is Arnaldo and Virginia Olivas. The location is 5575 Shenandoah Trail. The zoning is D1, low-density residential, and is a special use permit for an accessory dwelling. This is the location map. And this is the aerial of all the land uses around it. The subject property is 1 acre zoned D1. The surrounding area is single-family residential mix of site-built and mobile homes, generally on 1 acre or more. Access is from Shenandoah Trail, a private, unimproved 50-foot easement with a platted road. This is the close-up of the property, and I included, this case has come before you before. It was a zone change in March of 2023. And the zone change was denied, and he appealed it to the BOCC, and that was denied. So I have, this is the 2023 aerial. See if I can get my mouse to work. Mouse. Okay. This is the 2018 aerial, and this is the 2023 aerial. And this is the accessory dwelling is right here, and you can see it right here. The zoning map. The request is on July 20th, 2023, the applicant, Mr. Oliva, submitted a special application for a special use permit for an accessory dwelling for a legal non-conforming garage yet converted into an accessory dwelling. The conversion process was given a red tag stop order March 29th, 2023 due to the applicant conducting a commercial trucking business on the premise without the proper zoning. The applicant was held until Mr. Oliva's request for his zone change to C3 was processed with this commission. Subsequently, the zone change was denied on March 9th, 2023 by a vote of 5-0. Our department is still receiving complaints that the trucking business is still being used for commercial purposes. The applicant removed a fence on the front of Thorpe Road, allowing easier access to the property directly from Thorpe Road. An access permit from New Mexico Department of Transportation is required, and that has not been applied for. The SUP application began with as an administrative approval, received one email in opposition due to bright lights installed without a permit on the commercial garage. This violates the New Mexico Night Sky Act of 2001. This is the site plan and the accessory, wrong mouse. The accessory dwelling's right here. There were 13 letters of notification were mailed to the area properties on March 25th, 2024, and May 1st, 2024. The notice was posted in the Las Cruces Sun News on March 4th, 2024, and also on May 1st, 2024. Signs were posted on the property in a timely manner. This is the P&Z notification sign. It's upside down. This is the area of notification. This is the area where the people that were notified. And this is the subject property from Thorpe Road, across from Thorpe Road, facing like west. And these are the adjacent land uses. This is to the north. This is west. This is east and south. So you can see Mr. Olivas' property is on this side, so it's on the back of his property. You can see that it's mostly residential. This is Shenandoah Trail facing south. And this is Thorpe Road. It's a two-lane narrow roadway, and you can see the bridge where it's starting to turn. You turn right here, and this is Mr. Olivas' property right here. And this is Thorpe Road, the frontage. The reason I put this in here is because in 2023, these are the 2018 aerials. And this picture was taken March 6th, 2023, and this was taken March 22nd, yesterday. And the fence here has been taken down. You can see the fence has been taken down. So, and the asphalt mix or whatever this is has been, it's up to the roadway. Yeah, it's from the garage all the way to the roadway, to Thorpe Road. Huh? Oh, yes. And this is the accessory dwelling. This is 2023. And if you see there's a garage door there and a door, he's put a new roof, a new HVAC system. He's put a window here, removed that garage door, and moved this door here. Without permits, all of it without permits. These are the applicable plans and policies and criteria from the Chapter 350 Unified Development Code. And the special use permit is an applicant has the option of either applying for an administrative SUP or proceeding directly to the P&Z to consider the SUP at a public hearing. However, if there are any code violations on the property, staff may require that the applicant proceed directly to the public hearing. And our definition in our UDC is for an accessory dwelling, a separate, complete unit with separate entrance, kitchen, sleeping area, and full bathroom facilities, which is detached from the primary dwelling on the lot and shall not be used for the commercial sheltering of rental or of individuals or families. And this is our decision criteria, and I will go through these one by one. Number one is the potential traffic flows and impacts. The traffic impacts are minimal. Additional traffic created by an additional residential home will not substantially impact traffic, but the continued use of commercial trucks is contributing to safety concerns for the neighborhood. The impact to the Plan 2040, the comprehensive plan, our goals are G 2.2, ensure regulations that support the plan requirements, and A 2.2, update codes to provide tools to support an appropriate physical structure. Number 3 is potential water and sewer needs. The water is provided by Doña Mutual Domestic Water, and the applicant will need to submit an approved septic tank permit for the building permit to be issued. the capacity of infrastructure, there will be relatively little impact to existing infrastructure. Access will be from northwest Thorpe Road onto Shenandoah Trail. Shenandoah Trail is a 50-foot right-of-way, unpaved, private platted road, not maintained by the county. Environmentally sensitive areas, there is no evidence of negative impacts to sensitive areas, historical significance, or endangered or rare species of plant animal life. The impact of the proposed zoning, there is no significant impact on the adjacent property for the accessory dwelling. The property is surrounded by single-family residential and agricultural land. The applicant installed exterior bright lights on the commercial trucking garage that violates the New Mexico Night Sky Protection Act of 2001 without a permit. And this is the reason why we're here at the P&Z, because we got a complaint about that. So, and number 7, the implementation of best practices. At the time of the building permit, any best practices that are identified will be noted and included in the reviews, and staff will work with applicant and their contractor to ensure the implementation of these practices. This is a staff analysis. The subject property is 1 acre located in a rural, single-family residential neighborhood. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow an existing accessory dwelling less than 1,250 square feet. Traffic impacts are minimal. Additional traffic created by 1 additional residential home will not have a negative impact on the roadway. The special use permit received opposition due to exterior bright lights being installed on the commercial garage. The non-conformance of the use of the property for a commercial trucking business is problematic to the neighborhood, and a public hearing is required to address the ongoing issues with the applicant. No permits to convert the garage to a dwelling for building, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. No inspection for building, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. There were lights installed on the commercial garage after it was permitted and built with no permit. There is no ponding, on-site ponding that is required. Mr. Olivas has not complied with previous conditions on the zone change request. The property is outside of any incorporated municipal zoning authority. The request of this applicant is consistent with the requirements of the Unified Development Code 350-204B. Public notice requirements have been met. Decisional criteria for the SUP is consistent with health, safety, and general welfare with the UDC, and our comprehensive plan goals have been met. The special use permit is appropriate as Shenandoah Trail is a 50-foot unpaved private right-of-way. This serves 17 residential lots. Based on findings of fact, the staff analysis, agency comments, staff recommends conditional approval of case SU-004 to allow an accessory dwelling less than 1,250 square feet with conditions. Due to the ongoing use of the 6,000 square foot garage being used as a commercial trucking business use and the denial of a zone change from the Doña County Planning and Zoning Commission and an appeal to the Doña County Board of County Commissioners, for that use, staff recommends the garage be removed and located to an appropriate commercially zoned property. Triple fee for building conversion and electrical permits, removal or shield of bright lights to comply with Chapter 474, Article 12, NMSA 1978, New Mexico Night Sky Act of 2001. This concludes my presentation.
I have a question for you. A previous page, you mentioned that there were not permits that were pulled for some of this work,
Right.
and that inspections were not done either.
No.
And the lights issue, that's the one where we got the complaint from the neighbor?
Yes.
The bright lights?
Yes, and that was included in the case analysis.
And one of the lines you had in there was that the applicant has not been in compliance with the previous orders that were required.
Yes.
Were you referring to the permits and the inspection? Is that what you were?
I was referring, yes, well, no, because he could not get the permits until he gets the
Okay,
special use
I see.
permit. So he could not comply with getting the permits.
Okay,
I was talking about the commercial use, the trucking business without being
Okay.
zoned properly.
got it. All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the garage, commercial garage that is being used right now, was that permitted by Doña County?
Yes, it was permitted. It was, I don't know the date it was permitted. There's some history behind that, and I'm going to see if, Albert, can you explain that?
Sure. Chair, Commissioner Uranga.
Let me swear you in. Please state your name and address for the record.
Albert Casillas, 845 North Motel Boulevard.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Chair, Commissioner Uranga, the original permit was approved as a residential structure, as an addition to the existing dwelling that was already there. And then, of course, you already heard through the presentation that there were ongoing cases in the forms of zone changes to permit a commercial trucking business, but the building itself, that blue building that was there, did get a permit for as a residential accessory structure.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Casillas. The original permit was adjacent building or a building attached to the existing residence?
It was, technically, it was attached, back when this was permitted, there was a breezeway that was added from the dwelling to this structure. By adding a breezeway, technically, it was an addition to the dwelling.
Is it still attached? Does it still have a breezeway?
I believe it still does
Yes,
have a breezeway.
it's still there. It's right here. If you see on the, it's right here. This is the breezeway. That goes to the house.
Okay. Any further questions?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present?
Yes, he is.
Could you come forward, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please
Somebody
state your
swear
name and address for the record.
My name is Orlando Olivas. I live at 2030 San Patricio, and I also have that property in question.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give today is the truth under penalty of law?
I swear.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Morning.
members. I'm here of course, I'm the owner of the property in question. I guess the main complaint was here because of the lights. The lights have been there since day one, since the building was actually structured. I believe they were in the plan because they were supposed to be, because I never added those on. They were already there. I have pictures to show where they're really not bothering anybody. I don't know who's complaining, because I went around the neighborhood to the front of the lights and nobody said anything about it. If it's anybody behind, there's actually no light reflecting to them at all. And it's also in front of I guess it's a state highway, 320, I believe is what it is. And it's for the fence. I also have pictures. It's my fence. I can do what I want, I guess, I suppose. And I took it down because people kept running into it. They actually ran into the property marking monument. It's a concrete pillar, I believe. They broke it, so I just took it out. And that kept going on, I don't know, since I got it there, several people's ran into it. And so I just took it off. That's the reason the road got taken off. The fence, I'm sorry. As for the permit for the access to the highway, Shenandoah doesn't have a permit to access the highway, 320. I did speak to the state. His name is Bernie Sotelo. I do have the application for it, but I need the signature from the crossing neighbor to access, to make Shenandoah an actual permitted access road to state highway. He can actually, of course, there's common sense to this, that they will not, of course, fence that road off, but they can if they wanted to, because there is no legal permit to that access from Shenandoah. So I asked him about my property. He says, well, you'll just have to include it on the permit, and they make it denied and make it approved. But he is willing to approve the access to the highway if I sign off on that private property, or actually that half of that road is private property of mine. So that's where we're at on that, on the road. That's why the fence was taken down. And for the dwelling, I mean, I started, it was actually a dwelling to start with when I first bought the property. It was a one garage property, dwelling with it was like a studio. So I just took the small door and put the big one and just moved the door to the left, if you're facing it. And there was a kitchen there. There was a full bathroom. Everything is in service. There's water there. There's a sewer connected to it that I've never added on there. It was already there when I bought it. And I was just gonna remodel it for my dad. He's right here. He's 80, and he's just to be closer to him. And as for the big garage, I didn't know he was here to talk about that. Commercial trucking. When I got the permit, it was all included in the conversations. It was never written, but yeah, it was included on there. That included Luis Marmolejo, Mr. I believe Rubio, Mr. Vic was actually on the phone, and one of the staffs that's in the front. And they said, no, you can't build it. So I left, and I got a call, and they said, hey, there is a way that you can build it. You have to have hardship, or you can attach it to the building. And I go, how am I going to attach that garage to the building? And because I showed them the plans and everything. And they said, well, you can do a breezeway. Luis questioned that, Marmolejo, and then that's when the other staff member on the phone came in and said, we do this all the time for RVs. So it was approved, and I have pictures where the approvals were made. The foundation for concrete was approved December 21st, 2021 on the 23rd. And I also have the final approval that was in, I believe, September or November for that building. So considering that building is part of the housing according to their specifications. And as for truckings, I mean, there's truckings all over that, around that area. There's properties where there's 1 acre with 8 trucks, 8 trailers. There's another one, 3 trucks, 3 trailers. There's another one just in that vicinity within 1 mile to 2 miles. And they're never bothered. They're never questioned why they do that. But I am. I don't know why I am being, pointed at. And I guess I think I just have a right. It's the same as they do. I mean, I've taken the trucks out. I'm allowed 1 there. But I also have a question. Where do I apply for a special use permit? Because I am allowed, according to the unified codes, that I can run a business out of there with a special use permit. When I go here to get a special use permit, I'm always told I'm not qualified. But according to you, to the codes, unified codes, I am. I just have to have a special use permit on that for that property. And it's also considered as a agriculture use property. Well, my trucks, all they do is haul agricultural product, chili and pecans. That's it. And I asked one of the ladies one time, it's for agricultural, and she says, well, you don't have a pecan orchard there. I couldn't find anywhere on the codes where it says I have to have a pecan orchard on that property. So, and if you don't believe me on those trucks, I took some pictures on Sunday that for those 4 properties surrounding. There's one with 8 trucks, and yeah, they got a big pile on the road also, I guess millings. And then it's also a private road, I guess. It's not maintained by Doña County.
Okay, Commissioners, do you have any questions for the applicant? I just wanted to clarify something. I want to make sure that you are clear with what an approval of this means for you. The staff recommendation is for conditional approval, and it would require you to remove the garage and locate it to an appropriately commercial zone property, pay triple the fee for the building conversion and electrical permit, and remove the lights. So I want to make sure that you're clear that that's what this conditional approval calls for. Yeah, if you could bring that back up there.
Okay,
As you can see, those would be the conditions if this is approved. So I want to make sure that you're clear about that and you understand what that means for you.
I do understand, and to remove that building would cost, I got an estimate, $80,000. I invested $336,000 to be exact. I would lose at least 75% of that because that includes the sheeting, which is the most expensive part, the insulation, the concrete. So only thing I would have left is the framing, and no, I'm not willing to do that. And if this is not approved because of that, then I will cancel this request.
Okay? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
Well, yes, my comment is that if it's still being used as a commercial business, and it's not zoned appropriately for that use.
You're correct.
So either way, you have to stop using it as a business, that 6,000 square foot garage, whether you remove it or not.
Right.
May I ask, when you say commercial businesses, what is it exactly, what you telling me can't go inside the building, can't use it at all, or what is it that I need to do with that building then?
Well, maybe this is a question for staff. This is currently zone D1, am I correct? Okay, and my understanding is that a commercial business is not allowed in a D1 zone.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so,
Even if he had gotten the zone changed to a commercial, he could not live, he cannot use that accessory dwelling for a living quarters of any kind.
okay, all right. So, no matter how, as Commissioner Fisher said, whether this is approved or not does not change the fact that he will have to cease conducting that business at that property.
Yes, he will have to completely do no business there, no
Okay.
truck, no semi-trucks, no 18-wheelers at all,
Okay,
going in and out. It has to be, if it's for a residential use, you can use it for a residential use.
right, okay,
But that does not include 18-wheelers on there.
okay. I just wanted to clarify the Commissioner's comment there to make sure that we understand that. Okay, thank you.
And in addition, if this is passed, item 2, triple fee for building conversion and electrical permit, I assume that's for the modifications made to the existing building, correct?
To the accessory dwelling, yes.
Okay,
I have a question.
yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
So if we approve this conditional approval, and can he still use the actual 6,000 foot warehouse for residential purposes, maybe store his cars or anything like that, or does that have to be removed?
He can use it to store vehicles like pickup trucks.
Sure,
Sedan cars,
but definitely no
Jeeps,
trucking.
Vehicles like that
Sure.
a residential
Use.
family would use,
Okay,
but not 18-wheelers the way he's having them in there,
okay,
okay?
thank you.
That's why I asked that question, where do I apply for a special use permit? Because it is on the unified codes that I can induct business out of their commercial business. It's on, I got it in there on the notes, but since I come in here, I get denied on that. Where do I need to go directly to get a special use permit application to apply for it?
Sure. Just to, touch base on that question right there, Mr. Olivas did have, he did go through all the appropriate venues. He applied for a zone change to turn that property into a commercial location to operate, trucks out of there. He went through the P&Z, he went through the Board of County Commissioners, and he got denied at that point. I mean, he
Right.
did have the option of appealing to district court, but that never happened. So he's already been given, the way to try to make his property commercial. At the same time, if he would have gotten that commercial designation, he couldn't even have an accessory dwelling there.
Right.
Because you can't have residences in commercial or industrial
Right.
property. So when the zone change got denied, then that's when we restarted his application for the special use permit to allow the accessory dwelling, which is allowed in D1, in the D1 zone through the approval of an SUP. But there is no mechanism of applying for a special use permit for trucking business on the D1L zone. That's why he had to apply for his own change. And he did go through that process, and he got denied at the Board of County Commissioners.
So the special use permit would not, it's not applicable here.
No, I mean, there's some options for certain types of businesses
Yeah.
under the D1L and with the approval of a special use permit, but not for commercial trucking.
Okay.
It is agriculture use, again, I say, and it's, that property is, on the unified codes, does state it could be for agriculture use, commercial agricultural parking.
And Chair, just to follow up on that, I mean, if you're using commercial vehicles, commercial trucks for, to haul something, at another farm, that's not for your property. I mean, your property is residential, your property is not agricultural.
Right.
And there might be some exemptions, but that's just for properties that are currently being used for agricultural purposes. An active pecan farm, an active, chili farm, or somebody that already has like an industrial site out there. That's the intent of that section of the code. But this property in itself, it's clearly residential. There is no agricultural uses going on site.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I wanted to point something else. If they want me to completely remove all the trucks, I'm allowed one, and I believe it is that, then I'd like to see the rest of them being removed also from around properties. And I have pictures right there. There's one with 8 trucks, 8 trailers. If they remove it, if they can do it, why can't I? And have them remove it, I'll remove them too. I'm not denying I want it.
All right. Thank you.
Cool.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor or opposed? Yes, sir. If you'd come forward.
And Chair, also, I'm going to point out that we do have a member of Building Services here and the Fire Marshal Office here too.
Okay.
If you guys have any questions for them?
All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jacinto Palomino. I live on 902 West Thorpe Road.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the fidelity of law?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Sir,
I live right
If you would,
across from.
excuse me, if you would step forward so we can hear.
All right.
Okay.
Can you hear
Into
me
the
now?
microphone, please. Go ahead.
I live right across from the property of this gentleman, and I've been there for over 20 years. Never had any problems with this man. And as far as the lights go, my security lights are brighter than what his lights are. And as far as the traffic, he has never parked his trucks on the side of the road or anything. He always parks them in his yard there. And let me tell you, that building is a hell of a lot of nicer building than a lot of the buildings on the street. And I've had one person come from that street, knock one of my pine trees down, my road and everything. I never had him run into any of my trees. And why they're picking on this gentleman, I don't know. And I don't know why, but as far as I'm concerned, they're just, like you said, there's a lot of other stuff going on out there. And like I say, mind your own business and you won't be minding mine. Because if that was the case, I would be, oh, this guy's doing this, that guy's doing that, but I won't do that. And that's all I got to say.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any questions? No?
No. Thank you. Is there anyone else signed up? Okay, thank you. Any other comments or discussion by commissioners? Mario, are you on?
Yes, sir. No questions for me.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion for the approval of, Yes, go ahead.
There is an appeal pending case on, at the district court. The case number is 2023-1455. It's under James T. Martin. That's all.
Okay. He was just pointing out the case number. Okay, I would entertain a motion on the staff recommendation.
I move to approve conditional approval of case number SU 24-004 to allow an accessory dwelling less than 1,250 square feet.
With, including the conditions?
Conditional approval.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay. Roll call, please.
No, because the large building is being used as a commercial property at this time. That's my vote.
No, also there's, no, because it's being used as a commercial business.
Mario, did you hear that?
No, sir, I'm sorry. I can't hear whoever's speaking. I believe the mic's off.
Commissioner Jimenez, your vote, please.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
My vote is also no.
Okay. Commissioner Lear.
No, and I would cite the same reasons that my other, the two other commissioners initially said. So the motion fails. Thank you. Our next item is case number SU 24-013.
Gonna swear me in?
The record.
845 North Motel Boulevard, Albert Casillas.
Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. So our second case today, we have the property owner being Maria Martinez and being represented by Mr. Patrick Vigil, who is here today in the audience. This is going to be for a special use permit to allow a 1,300 square foot accessory dwelling in a D1 zone. This property is located on Conroy Trail, right in the village of Doña, and the zoning is the D1. So here we have a location map of the property. We basically have East Doña School Road right here, and it's right across the street from Doña Elementary. That's the interchange here of I-25 and Thorpe for the village of Doña. And then here's just the aerial of the surrounding area. Of course, we see the elementary school here, the interchange, the village of Doña here, and then this is the subject parcel. So just a little bit of history on the existing zoning. Prior to the adoption of the EDC, this property was zoned EV district, which allowed for existing unincorporated nameplaces to continue to develop in the same manner as they had in the past within the context of district zoning. So this village zone, this EV zone was pretty flexible. You know, it allowed for some dense residential areas. It was a mixed use, you know, that allowed also for commercial activities. And then some of the permitted uses in the EV, well, it was in relation to higher density residential zones, mobile home parks even, and then the low density commercial districts. And under the EV, you are allowed to have an accessory dwelling but you were limited to 1,600 square feet. And then when the UDC got adopted, it went from EV to D1, which still allowed for single-family type of homes and mobile homes. This property was purchased by Ms. Gonzalez on about 3 years ago, September 20th of 2021. The existing home on the property was built in 2000, and water is provided by Doña Mutual, and sewer will be handled through an approved septic tank. And then Conroy Trail itself, it's a private 30-foot easement which connects to Doña School Road, which is county maintained. Here's a close-up of the property. So that's Doña School Road. This is the Conroy Trail easement. This is the existing home. This is a 1,300 square foot home, existing garage. And then you have some accessory structures on the rear of the property. When we look at the zoning map, pretty much everything around there, it's all D1. This is blank because it's institutional. This is where the elementary school's at. And then just to clarify the request, they are planning on building a larger home. Because of that, the existing home, that's the one that's going to be the accessory dwelling. It's just that, our code only allows for 1,250 square feet, so they're exceeding that by about 64 feet. So that's the reason why, why they're requesting the special use permit. And there's also a variance component to this, which I'll touch base on right now. So, when we look at the site plan, they're calling out the easement. That's the existing home, and they're proposing on building the new home here, basically on close to the southern property line. And I'm just zooming in a little bit, but existing home, and that's going to be the new residence. So if this is approved, then that will turn into the accessory dwelling, and then that will be the primary home. Letters of notification went out, signs were posted on the property. A couple of phone calls that I received, just inquiring about the proposal, but really no letters in favor or in opposition were received. And those were the properties that were notified. The next couple of slides are just going to be some pictures. This is basically the intersection of Conroy and Doña School Road right here. So here I'm looking back into their easement, so the property's behind this fence. And this is the Conroy Trail. And when you drive up to the property, this is basically what's there. You have the garage, you have the existing home, a couple of vehicles out there, and accessory structures. And then this is just looking south onto the property. So that's the home, and that's going to be that they're requesting to be turned into the accessory dwelling. And here's just pictures of the surrounding areas. And there's Doña Elementary, and then just some of the surrounding homes. So for SUPs, we have to look at section 204 of our Unified Development Code, and then the sections for decisional criteria. Of course, we got to look at traffic flows, the need for residential activity, potential water and sewer needs, any environmentally sensitive areas, the impact of the proposed SUP, and implementation of best management practices. For traffic, we don't anticipate any major traffic. Additional traffic created by one additional residential home is not going to have any negative impacts. The need for this residential activity, on their summary, the applicant stating that they're wanting to build a new primary residence on this property and keep the existing one as a secondary. There's a couple of goals under the comp plan that this request meets. We're looking at goal G2.2, which is safeguarding and extending desirable neighborhood character, and then also to preserving existing neighborhood's character by tailoring the zones to match it. For water, we already know that Doña and Mutual Domestic will be providing water and that they'll have to get an approved septic tank from New Mexico Environmental. Relatively, there's going to be little impact on the existing infrastructure. Access is off of Conroy Trail, which is private, but it connects right to Doña School Road. No known environmentally or sensitive areas. And like I said it before, we believe that the impact is going to be minimal. And then the applicant will have to work with staff to implement any reasonable best management practices. If the SUP is approved, then they have to pull a building permit. So for our findings, they're included in your package. So we do believe that the applicant meets the decisional criteria for special use permits. Our zoning code does require a special use permit if you're in the D1 zone. And then, of course, the Planning and Zoning Commission have the right to impose any conditions that they feel is necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. And then, of course, it does fall under the definition of a accessory dwelling. So we are recommending approval for this case, conditional approval. The case that's coming up after this one, it is a variance in conjunction with this special use permit, so that'll be the next case that we'll talk about. But so basically our conditions are, that the variance has to be approved as well. But also, condition number 2, and I just added this one, is to remove any junk vehicles that are on site and to obtain a permit for all accessory structures. We saw some containers out there, but even those do require a building permit to serve as accessory structures. So those are the 2 conditions that I have for this special use permit. So staff stands for questions.
I'm wondering, so you're saying the SUP has to be approved before the variance?
Yeah, I mean, I can go ahead and talk about the variance too, but the way we did it last time, I presented both cases and then we took a separate vote. I'll leave it up to the commission if you guys want me to proceed into the variance case for the next item and then, take 2 separate votes.
Yeah,
or we can make a decision right here.
I think it might clarify things if you go ahead with the variance.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was the presentation for the special use permit. The next item on your agenda, of course, is going to be the variance that's associated with this special use permit request. And the wrong one there. Okay. So for variances, we have to look at the findings. Well, let me clarify first. We're seeking a variance because the code only only allows for 1,250 square feet. So they're exceeding a little bit on that. So that's why the variance has to be applied for as well. They're exceeding it by about 64 square feet. So they do have to apply for that variance. For variances, we have to look at whether or not, whether it's going to be a grant of special privilege, whether it's going to be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or if there's a physical hardship resulting from the size, shape of the parcel, or any topographic features on site, and whether or not the variance upholds the purpose and intent of this chapter. So I'll touch base on those specific items here. Staff doesn't believe that it's going to constitute a grant of special privilege. We saw before that the previous zoning was EV. It did allow accessory dwellings by right. So there's also through my research and looking at other properties, a couple of years ago, there was a property within the area of notification that got approval of a special use permit. So that was about 4 years ago 3 years ago under case number SU 21-004. And if you look in your packet on the notification map, it's actually going to be the one that's labeled as number 1 on your notification map. So it's within 300 feet, within the area of notification, but they did receive a special use permit as well. So we don't believe it's a grant of special privilege because there's other properties that have had a special use permit approved. Detrimental to the public health or safety, we don't believe, it's going to be detrimental. There will not be any significant impacts on surrounding properties. Properties surrounded by single-family residential and vacant land, traffic impacts are going to be minimal. Existing physical hardships, the owner purchased this property in 2021, so the house was already there because it was built in 2000. So now that they're, proposing to build a new primary residence of, 1,632 square feet, that's what's triggering the SUP and the variance. The square footage is only going to be over, I mentioned before, 64 square feet, and that's over the allowed 1,250 square feet. And in the EV district, accessory dwellings were allowed to be no more than 1,600 square feet. And we do believe that this request is going to uphold the purpose and intent of this chapter. There's goals in the comp plan that support the SUP for the accessory dwelling. And for our staff findings, just like I said, it does meet the criteria for variances. And, those are included in your packet as well. We don't believe it's going to be a grant of special privilege. We don't believe it's going to be detrimental. There is a hardship, and that does uphold the purpose and intent of this chapter. So based on our findings and analysis, we are recommending a conditional approval as well for this variance request, and the condition being that the SUP is approved as well.
Okay, thanks, Albert. Commissioners, do you have any questions about the request for the SUP or the variance?
Can you put the aerial up? If I can see the aerial, the one that shows the buildings, okay. That was it, all right. The residence is the one, that's your residence. And the other building that's down below,
That's a garage.
that's a garage.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the-
So no permit is needed for that garage, is that correct?
That's correct. I believe they did pull a permit for that one. It's just going to be the containers that are on site. They do need a building permit.
The containers need a permit?
Yes.
Okay, and then you talked about junk vehicles. Where do you see the junk vehicles?
That one photo shows it.
So that's a garage that's already there. And then when I went there to take pictures, of course, you saw the containers. There's one here, and there's one kind of behind the garage too. You can't see it from this angle, but that truck is totaled. It's not operable. So that's the one that has to be removed.
Thank you.
Okay, any other? Mario, you have any questions of staff?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay,
And I do have the applicant's representative here for questions as well.
I'm sorry, say again?
We do have the applicant's representative here as well.
thanks, Albert. So if the applicant would like to step up to the microphone?
Good morning. Please raise your right hand and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Maria Raquel Gonzalez, and the record is 5555 Conroy.
Alrighty. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank you. You may proceed.
If you could-
Morning.
If you could speak into the microphone, thank you.
Hi, yes.
Go ahead.
The reason that I need a special permit is because I know there is an existing house right there, but we bought this property thinking about our future for our kiddos. I have 3 handicapped kiddos of my own, my own sons. And the reason I want to build another house is because sooner or later, I won't be able to work with them no more. but I want to give them, need to have them closer. So I'm trying to build, if you guys give me a permit, a house so where I can have a place for them and for me separate, but in the same area, just to, to keep an eye on them and to keep up, people who will work with them and how they, how they will treat them and all that stuff. So that's the only reason I'm here, because I really, really need to be with them, but in a separate place.
Okay, thank you. Any
Sure, thank
questions
you.
from any of the commissioners?
No.
Yes, I do. Do you understand that the approval of the variance will require you to get permits for the containers that are on site, and that you will remove junk vehicles?
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Those junk vehicles are, the people who's living there. And of course, we will remove
Okay,
them. Yes,
thank you.
sure.
And also, just to remind you, when you build a new home, that's obviously going to require other permits also. Okay, just want to make sure you're aware of that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience in favor or opposed to this? Sir, go ahead, step forward.
Please state your name and address for the record. Your name and address?
Patrick Vihid, 4,000 Park. My address?
Yes, please.
4,000 Firethorn Court. I have 1 ear missing.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that.
And
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Thank
I do.
you.
Thank you. I'm Patrick Vihid. I'm the general contractor, designer, partnership in proposing this building. And just want to assure you that I've been here for 30 years plus, and always have and will continue to follow all the regs that the county and building people require.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments from?
No.
Anything else from staff?
No, sure.
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve SU 24-013, a special use permit.
Make a motion to approve?
Second,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Uranga,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
and Chair Lear.
Yes. And I would, at this point, I would entertain a motion for case number V24-003, a request for a variance.
I move to approve variance V24-003 to allow 1,314 square foot accessory building dwelling.
I second that.
Second.
I keep skipping this. Is there any discussion? If not, we'll do the roll call.
Commissioner Fisher,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
Commissioner Uranga,
Yes.
and Chair Lear.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair, just to be clear, the motion for the special use permit did contain the conditions
Yes.
as well as the finding of
Yes,
facts.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that concludes new business. Are there any administrative approvals?
Yes, Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. So the map before you is depicting the number of building permits that we issued for the month of April. So what we're showing there is 12 single-family residential new building permits that were issued, and there were 0 commercial permits for April. But we did issue an additional 11 residential additions, and we had 15 commercial additions. And then in addition to that, we issued 17 permits for mobile homes. And our total fees collected in April was a little over $49,000.
Busy month. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Any other comments or questions, commissioners? Seeing none, I will,
Mr. Chair,
yes, go ahead.
I would just like to remind all of our viewers and everybody present, please do not forget to go vote. We have early voting taking place down the hall. Please make sure everybody gets registered. Make sure you get voted. We do have same-day registration as well. That is all.
Thanks for that announcement. It's a good reminder. Staff input? Commission input? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
Second it?
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Same sign?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.